in any way with the Department of Justice or any other part of the government. They do not know what I'm about to say. Only facts matter. And the FBI found them here in an entirely apolitical and professional way. Though we did not find clear evidence that Secretary Clinton or her colleagues intended to violate laws governing the handling of classified information, there is evidence that they were extremely careless. For example, 7 email chains concern matters that were classified at the top secret special access program at the time they were sent and received. There is evidence to support a conclusion that any reasonable person in Secretary Clinton's position or in the position of those with whom she was corresponding about those matters should have known that an unclassified system was no place for that conversation. Although there is evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding the handling of classified information, our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case.
Well, I guess the conclusion of the day is that she is a non-criminal liar. The lying is obvious when you compare her statements with what Comey said, but he came out with a puzzling conclusion. As you say, he laid the case for gross negligence. He accused her of extreme carelessness, and then he laid out the fact that she should have known, she did know. And then he created a completely irrelevant new standard, which is malicious intent. But negligence does not require intent. That's the whole point of having it in the statute. There's intentional, and the statute says, or gross negligence. So I think his logic is completely wrong. He spent 14 minutes laying out a case for negligence, and then he says you can't prosecute. This is the end of this, I believe. But as a political matter, what hangs over, the residue is, yes, there's no implosion of her candidacy, but I can see all the ads that cut between now and Election Day, juxtaposing what Comey said today with what she has said incorrectly, at the least, in the past.
All the cases prosecuted involved some combination of clearly intentional and willful mishandling of classified information, or vast quantities of information exposed in such a way as to support an inference of intentional misconduct, or indications of disloyalty to the United States, or efforts to obstruct justice. We do not see those things here.
She didn't intend it. The question is, what is it? She intended to set up a private server. She intended to send all the classified emails that she sent, some of which were actually marked as classified at the time. It appears that Comey's standard is, did she intend to harm the United States? If she didn't, she gets acquitted. That's not the standard. It's the intent of mishandling this information, and that's what the statute requires. She met it, and he declined to prosecute.
As the president has reminded us, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice.
But if she weren't running for president, if she had simply left office and were a private citizen now, she might have been indicted. I think it's not so much the fear of the Clintons or sort of respect for Obama, kowtowing to the political bosses that moved to Comey. I have a sense, a bit like the way that the Chief Justice refused to act to overturn Obamacare, that you don't want to be the fulcrum of history. Comey knows if he had indicted her, that's the end of her campaign. That'll be the event of the 2016 campaign history. It'll be the decision that sways everything the most. I think he didn't want to be that. And I think it's because she's running, not so much she's a Clinton, not so much because of her reputation and all that and her power. But I think Comey did not want to be the person that history remembers as changing the course of this presidential election. That's giving him the benefit of the doubt, but I think it's a very plausible explanation.
This has been a Sunfish production.